The news day continues here on One News Now. I'm Maricel Halili. Let's check in on prices of salmon in Pampano and wet markets following the Bureau of Fisheries deferral of its suspension on the sale of these imported fish. We have Justin Punsalang reporting from Quezon City. Justin, what's the latest?
Both Pampano and salmon are still available in wet markets. This is after Bureau of Fisheries and Aquatic Resources on Friday halted its ban on wet markets to sell imported Pampano and salmon. The original moratorium was BFAR's action to fight illegal importation of fish. But after considering the recommendations of lawmakers and fishery stakeholders, BFAR said that they will instead strengthen their campaign against illegal fish in ports and cold storage facilities. Sellers and consumers alike find the decision of BFAR a good move. According to fish vendors, selling of fish or frozen fish like Pampano and salmon allow them to have a stable daily earning, as there are times when local fish supply is low. Consumers, on the other hand, say that having more choices is better. They also prefer buying expensive fish like Pampano from wet markets because although costly, they are significantly lower than those from supermarket. The price of Pampano in Commonwealth Market is at 340 pesos per kilo, while salmon costs 180 pesos per kilo. BFAR is yet to announce when the ban will take place.
Thank you. That was Justin Punsalang reporting live from QC. Presidential Management Staff Head Zenaida Angping has asked to take some time off for personal reasons, according to the Office of the Press Secretary. However, it is not clear whether Angping is just taking a leave of absence or is stepping down from her post entirely. The Office of the Press Secretary says the President has agreed to Angping's request to take some time off. The Presidential Management Staff manages the day-to-day activities of the President, including logistical preparations for presidential trips. We'll be back with more stories after the break. Keep it here on One News. You're still watching One News Now. I'm Maricel Halili. COVID-19 cases in NCR has increased by 56% in the past week. OCTA fellow Guido David noted that this is due to a December Omicron BQ.1 subvariant wave, which led to an increase similar to that of the BA.5 wave in June. David added that NCR's reproduction number and hospital utilization rate also slightly increased. Meanwhile, the World Health Organization says that some 90% of the world population has some resistance against COVID-19, but they are still urging people to be vigilant, saying that a new variant may still emerge. To give us more details on the rising coronavirus cases, we have with us via Zoom OCTA Research Fellow Guido David. Good afternoon, sir.
Hi, good afternoon, Maricel, and our viewers and listeners.
Okay, sir, NCR has recorded more cases in the past week. Aside from the BQ subvariant, where can we attribute these increase? Do you see a December wave now?
Yeah, I think we're seeing a December wave. It's not going to be like the waves we had last year or the surges we had last year. So it would be very similar to the waves we just had weeks and months ago, starting in June. We attribute this mainly to the Omicron BQ.1 subvariant. But of course, we know that health protocols do reduce transmission of the virus.
Okay, like what you have said, you don't see that the same peak will be experienced now, like what we have experienced in the previous surges. But do you see the need to impose stricter protocols now that we are actually nearing holiday season? So a lot of people are going out to do their shopping.
I don't think we need stricter restrictions, Maricel. When I go out, I noticed that a lot of people are still wearing face masks. And even on my own personal survey, when I asked this, more than 80%, in fact, maybe even up to 90% of the respondents said they will continue to wear face masks indoors. Although I'm now seeing more people not wearing face masks outdoors, but at least in open areas. So I think people more or less know what to do if there's an increase in infections. And this is what we want to happen. We just want to inform the public that infections are increasing at this time. And it's up to them to decide what or how they should protect themselves. And the best way to protect ourselves is still to wear the face mask. I know that because I've talked to some people and they haven't gotten COVID over the past 2+ years, and they do go out sometimes, but they practice health protocols strictly. So that's the reason why they haven't gotten infected.
But how about the healthcare utilization rate? Sir Guido, you have mentioned, I guess, in your previous statements that you have seen an increase when it comes to the hospital utilization rate. Does it mean that we are also seeing an increase on severe cases?
Well, the percentage of severe cases is around 2% of the number of cases reported. And if we're seeing an increase in reported cases, and in fact, we have seen that because in the NCR, as you mentioned a while ago, the number of cases, the 7-day average has increased. And as of yesterday, I'm just pulling up the number, it has increased to about 410 cases per day. On average from about 271. So that's still about a sizable, more than 50% increase. So there will be more cases, but we're not seeing hospitals getting filled up. Right now, hospitalization or hospital utilization in NCR has increased to about 28%. So it's been going up by about 1% every day. So we're tracking that. We don't expect that this will reach, 40% bed utilization. But at the same time, what this means is that there will be people getting severe COVID, even if it's not a lot of them. And that's why, again, we remind the public even though restrictions are, loose and face masks are optional, especially the elderly and those with comorbidities, we remind them to practice health protocols so that they can protect themselves from the virus.
Okay, so sir, speaking of more cases, what is your projection in terms of the number of cases, in terms of the number of COVID cases in the country? Do you see a decline in these numbers anytime soon? What do you see on the first quarter of next year?
Well, Maricel, the positivity rate is still increasing in Metro Manila. So we're expecting the numbers in Metro Manila to still increase. Right now, we're averaging 410, but we might get it up to 500 or 600. I mean, hopefully not, but it might increase to those levels. I'm not sure if it will hit 1,000 cases per day in NCR alone. We might see maybe up to 2,000 or maybe even more than 2,000 cases per day nationwide. But the low number of cases is mainly because we're not testing as much compared to before. Compared to last year, we're probably testing only about 1/5 of the level of tests so we were conducting last year. And even back in January, our testing was much higher compared to now. The wave usually lasts about up to 2 months. So by January, we're hoping that the wave will be subsiding, especially if we still have substantial wall of immunity. So we might be reaching those levels that I mentioned, maybe 500 per day in NCR, maybe up to 2,000 per day nationwide. And we're probably going to expect that the BQ subvariant will spread to other provinces of the country as well.
All right. Professor Guido, thank you for joining us this afternoon. That was OCTA Research Fellow Guido David. Let's now take a quick look at today's other top stories. President Bongbong Marcos says Filipino ambassadors should look for opportunities for business and partnerships for the Philippines, apart from maintaining good relations with other countries. Marcos says envoys should serve as instruments in helping the country's economy grow and pursuing opportunities to more favors or investors. A zipper lane will be implemented along Quezon Avenue starting Monday. This will be implemented during weekdays from 6 a.m. to 8 a.m. Film actor Nico Santos will once again grace the big screen, this time in Marvel's Guardians of the Galaxy. In an Instagram post, Santos described the experience as surreal. And those are the top stories of the hour. Join us later at 1:30 p.m. as we continue to monitor the day's biggest stories. You can also catch One News in the Signal Play app. Register for a free account now at www.signalplay.com and stream One News live anytime, anywhere. I'm Maricel Halili. We are One News.